All right, here we go. The second half of the recaps from week number 1 in the NFL football season. Yesterday, we ended with the Texans versus the Colts. The frustration that ensues will be a lot. We'll talk about that more at the end of this week as we preview the coming week's games. But for this one, let's dive right in. I don't want to spend too much time on some of these other games, so we're just going to run through them. I'll give you the quick snapshot, and we'll get to the games that everybody wants to know about. So one of the picks, you guys know I am very, very high on the Falcons. One of the games that did not go the way that we thought it would go was the Falcons versus the Steelers. The Steelers got the W 18-10. Justin Fields wasn't horrible, 17-23, 156 yards. The run game was pretty dang good, 41 rushes, 137 yards. Najee Harris had 20 rushes for 70. Justin Fields ran it 14 times for 57 yards. Here's the thing, 41 rushes for 137 yards only comes out to a 3.3 yard average. So run the ball 41 times and only get 3 yards a carry basically per run. The Falcons' defense was not the problem. Falcons' defense was not an issue. 2 sacks. They did force a fumble. They weren't bad. Weren't bad at all. George Pickens had 6 catches for 85 yards. Freiermuth 4 for 27. Jaylen Warren 2 for 13. Everybody else only had 1 catch. Okay, they weren't getting beat. This game wasn't about how the Steelers won, it's about how the Falcons lost. Kirk Cousins, 16-26, 155 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Bijan Robinson, 18 carries for 68 yards. Tyler Allgeier, 3 carries for 21 yards. Together, 22 carries, 89 yards, 4 yards per carry average. Receiving core, Ray McCloud, 4 catches, 52. Bijan, 5 for 43. Kyle Pitts, 3 for 26 with a touchdown. Drake London got 2 catches. That has to change. Has to change. Cousins wasn't good. Cousins was not good. That defense wasn't top notch. It wasn't. It wasn't top notch. And the Falcons the fans are a little bit loud right now. Kirk Cousins does not have a long leash in Atlanta. You saw Jayden Daniels play a very good game. A game that the Falcons would have loved to have from Kirk Cousins. Bo Nix was asked to throw 42 times as a rookie. Still had his team within 6 points. Caleb Williams looked like garbage. Oh well. Falcons, they're going to have to figure it out quick. They got the road game against the Eagles, which most of us had them losing anyway. We had them beating the Steelers, losing to the Eagles, going 12-5. Now they're looking at potentially 11-6. And if they're not careful, they could be 10-7 and fighting with the Buccaneers for the division spot because they're not going to take, if they don't start taking care of business immediately. The biggest takeaway from this game, how long is Kirk Cousins going to have? He looked rustier than Tin Man on Wizard of Oz. You look bad. Fine, game number 1. You got hit by a really good defense. Hopefully knocked all the rust off, and now we can go play some football. They need to, if they lose, they need to lose competitively against the Eagles. They cannot get blown out. And Cousins cannot throw 3 interceptions and get blown out. It will get extremely loud for Michael Penix in Atlanta really quickly. All right, moving on to the next blowout game. The Minnesota Vikings trampled the New York Football Giants. Sam Darnold, 19 of 24, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Minnesota running the ball, 14 of 94 for Aaron Jones and a touch. Ty Chandler, 8 for 17. Not bad. Total of 26 rushes, 111 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. Justin Jefferson, 4 catches, 59 yards, and a touch. Jordan Addison had 3 catches for 35. Josh Oliver had 2 catches for 27. Ty Chandler had 3 for 25. Listen, not bad. Offensive day, honestly, not bad. Not bad at all. The Vikings went into there and they dominated. And by dominated, I mean this. I haven't talked about the sacks very much. Everybody had, 1 or 2. Some of them had 3 sacks, but everybody was right around the 2 sack range average. No. Minnesota had 5 sacks of Daniel Jones. 5. Daniel Jones, 22 of 42, 186 in 2 interceptions with 5 sacks. Devin Singletary, 10 carries, 37 yards, only averaged 3.7 yards a carry. Not going to get it done. Just not going to get it done. Malik Neighbors did have a good opening day, 5 catches, 66 yards. Wan'Dale Robinson had 6 catches for 44 yards. Slayton, 3 catches for 26. So Malik Neighbors is what people thought he could be. Good, very good opening day for Malik Neighbors. Very good. The biggest takeaway from this, though, the Giants are going to be as bad as people thought they would be. There's a very good chance they get the number 1 pick. I still think it'll be 3rd. I did think the Patriots were going to be worse. We'll go over that game next. I did think the Patriots would be worse. But I didn't think they would beat the Cincinnati Bengals. Or should I start calling them the Bungles again? I don't know. I have to admit, and I know I can't speak for everybody, so I understand that, okay? I can't speak for everybody. But the reality is you saw the Bengals going 11-5, 10-7, making the playoffs relatively comfortably as the 5th seed in most predictions. Making it as the 5th or 6th seed in most predictions. Dude, here's a reality check. Joe Mixon, no longer there. Tyler Boyd, no longer there. T. Higgins, always injured, was out yesterday. Jamar Chase is trying to get a contract with 2 years still left on his. And, oh, by the way, he's injured. Yeah, pay the guy that's injured right now. Good idea. They did pay Joe Burrow, obviously. He needs your quarterback. And their defense didn't suck necessarily. But my gosh. I mean, Jacoby Brissett starting for the Patriots was 15 of 24, 121 yards. 121 through the air. No touchdowns, no picks, only was sacked once. Ramondre Stevenson, 25 carries, 120 yards, and a touch. Jacoby Brissett ran 7 scrambles for 32, and Antonio Gibson, 7 carries for 18. Now, I told you about the New England tight ends, and I've told you about them for quite a while. Austin Hooper, 2 catches, 31 yards. KJ Osborne, 3 catches, 21 yards. Hunter Henry, 2 for 18. Jalen Polk did get a catch in this game. But the Patriots aren't supposed to be an offensive juggernaut. They're not even supposed to be a defensive juggernaut. Yet, Joe Burrow, 21 of 29, 164 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, sacked 3 times. The running game, Zach Moss, 9 carries for 44 yards. Burrow, 4 for 15. Chase Brown, 3 for 11. It was just like bad offense. Bad offense. Once again, a team with less than 225 yards of total offense. Like, what are we doing? Ja'Marr Chase does what he does. 6 catches, 62 yards, but no touchdowns. T. Higgins was out. Now, as I said, I cannot talk for everybody, but I think we gave the Bengals a little bit too much credit, and we're still kind of going off of their Super Bowl year where they had no offensive line, got hit. Okay. Reality check for everybody that talks about football and has been saying the Bengals can make the playoffs. Where's their weapons going to come from? No Joe Mixon. No Tyler Boyd. T. Higgins is always hurt. It's Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase. Zach Moss, 9 for 44. Nothing special. Yeah, the yards per carry average is much better. I will definitely give you that. Almost 5 yards a carry. But come on. There's no special on that team. They got 10 points at home opening day against another team that's completely rebuilt. Really? The Bengals losing opens the door for the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Dolphins. Remember, I had the Dolphins out of the playoffs. If the Bengals struggle, it really opens up the wild card spots. It really does. And I'm afraid they will. I really am afraid they will struggle. All right, let's go to another game. The Raiders and Chargers. And then we've got the Browns, Cowboys, Rams, Lions, and Jets, Niners. Raiders, Chargers. Reality in this is the Raiders had this game in their grasp, and Gardner Minshew basically wasted it away. They were driving driving in the third quarter, and then got a turnover. It was bad. It was bad. No doubts about it. It was bad. Gardner Minshew in total, the numbers don't look as bad if you don't include the fumbles. Gardner Minshew, 25 of 33, 257, a touchdown, and an interception. Sacked 4 times. Zamir White, Not a great day on the ground, 13 for 44. Alexander Madison, 5 for 19. Jacoby Myers was happy with Gardner Minshew. He had 3 catches for 61 yards. Devontae Adams had 5 catches for 59 yards. Brock Bowers, the rookie out of Georgia, 6 catches for 58 yards. You want to know the reality here? Gardner Minshew doesn't fumble. The Raiders beat the Chargers. Gardner Minshew, Zamir White both fumble, cost their team the game. Why do I say that? Well, let's look at the Chargers offense. Justin Herbert, 17 of 26, 144 and a touchdown. J.K. Dobbins, I think he got the starting job potentially. If he's healthy, J.K. Dobbins is a nightmare. 10 carries, 135 yards, and a touchdown. Gus Edwards, 11 carries, 26 yards. Yeah, it's a pretty big differential. But who were we wondering, or I should say, what were we wondering heading into all this? What was it we wanted to know? Well, number one, what's the receiver room like? Well, congratulations, you found out. Ladd McConkey, 5 catches, 39 yards, and a touchdown. Quentin Johnson, 5 catches, 38 yards. Hayden Hurst, 2 catches for 33 yards. Good for the rookie. And good for Quentin Johnston. New coach, gives him an opportunity, then just throw him aside, brought him in, and he's going to be able to get to play receiver. Good for him. All right, the Cowboys and Browns, I don't even want to give you the numbers on. The game was so hard to watch. Cowboys and Browns. Cowboys and Browns. Cowboys and Browns. The Browns suck. The defense is going to be good. Deshaun Watson, I don't know if he has anything left of his former self. The ground game wasn't bad. Stefanski is a really good coach. Jerry Jeudy is going to be a great pickup. Amari Cooper, like, they've got the pieces. Really, the thing that sucks is Deshaun Watson. And, you know, Dak Prescott gets the big contract, way overpaid. Now he's way, way, way overpaid. And he basically turned in pedestrian numbers himself. Wasn't anything special. He didn't even eclipse 200 yards. They didn't even really, I mean, they didn't eclipse 300 yards as a team. So don't tell me, or don't try to tell me, look at what the Cowboys were able to do, 33-17 on the road against the Browns. No. No. Deshaun Watson is bad. I feel bad for Stefanski. He's kind of trapped with it for this year. But hey, you could go get Dillon Gabriel next year. Go bad enough. Be bad enough. You got the ability to re-sign players. Be bad enough. Get Deshaun Watson out. Dillon Gabriel in. Kyle McCord in. You got a lot better shot than you do with Deshaun Watson. All right, the 2 final games. Here we go. 2 final games. Big games. Primetime games. Games that matter. This is it. Rams and Lions. My gosh. You guys know how high I've been on the Rams. And honestly, I thought I was going to keep keep this one for last, but Sunday night happens before Monday night, so let's do this one first. This game, it epitomized what the Los Angeles Rams are. And yeah, I'm going to slow down a little bit because they lost, but they won. Because everybody who is watching, everybody who watched is petrified. Petrified at what this team could do when it gels and if that offensive line is healthy. Here's the picture. Yes, I love the Rams. Deal with it. Here's the picture. 2 offensive linemen were out to begin with. 2 more offensive linemen got hurt during the game. Matthew Stafford, 34 of 49, 317 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. You want to know what's more impressive? Only 2 sacks. 2 sacks. The running game, Kyren Williams, 18 carries, 50 yards. Ronnie Rivers, 2 for 16. As a team, they had 23 rushes for 83 yards. Not a great running average, 3.6 yards a carry in total. Detroit's defensive line is dang good. But receiving, Puka Nacua also got hurt in the first half. Oh yeah, forgot to tell you, he was out the second half. Cooper Kupp, 14 catches, 110 yards. Tyler Johnson, 5 for 79. Kobe Parkinson, I told you guys that's a big tight end acquisition, 4 for 47. Demarcus Robinson, 4 for 42. Puka Nacua, before he went out, 4 for 35. This team's ready to play. They went into Detroit, into Motown, against everything, and they made the plays. They tied the game. They got it to overtime, and this is where Chris Collinsworth said it best. You're not ready for an overtime game in week number 1. Most teams aren't ready to play a full, hard, mano-a-mano football game week number 1. And both of these teams were. But Stafford outdid Goff. Goff was 18 of 28, 217, a touchdown interception. But here's where the difference was. It was on the ground, and this is a little bit exaggerated because the only team that got a possession in overtime was the Lions. So there are no Rams yards from overtime. David Montgomery, 17 carries, 91 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 11 carries for 40 yards, both of them with a touchdown. The Lions receivers, Jameson Williams, had a really good game for himself. Glad to see him back. 5 for 121 and a touch. Sam Laporta, 4 for 45. Jahmyr Gibbs, 4 for 34. Amon-Ra St. Brown, they held to 3 carries for 13 yards. What was so impressive about this game was the fact that I have told you guys all offseason, and people have said, we're not sure what's going to happen, and even Collinsworth and Tirico unfortunately got sucked into it. And they go, what in the world are they going to do without Aaron Donald? I don't know. Get better? Dude, I would not want to see this line with Aaron Donald. If this line had Aaron Donald, oh my Lanta. Chris Shula, the new defensive coordinator, it legitimately looked like one thing. He told young And dang it, all of a sudden I forgot his name. Turner, Colby Turner. He told Young and Turner to play on one side of the line of scrimmage. He told Braden Fisk and Jared Verse to play on the other side of the line of scrimmage. And he said, you two work together on your individual sides and go get the quarterback. Jared Verse was all over flipping Jared Goff every night. I mean, every play. Jared Verse and Braden Fisk were there. Those two picks, drafting teammates. This is why the Rams consistently win. It looked good. That defense looks good. After the secondary and the linebackers kind of gel into it, you don't want to play the Rams. I am really confident in my Rams pick right now. Really am. Really am. What a game. I was up the entire time, watched every snap of that game. What a game. My gosh, congratulations to the Lions. You played tough. You won the games you need to win if you want to be division champs, and if you want to be able to be considered a top dog. You had to win this game at home, opening up on Sunday Night Football, and you did. So kudos to Detroit. You know I've got them winning their division. I've got them as the second best team in the NFC. What a game. What a game. All right, the final game of the weekend, the one that capped it all off. New York Jets at San Francisco 49ers. Aaron Rodgers didn't look as bad as Kirk Cousins. He didn't look great. Tyrod Taylor actually looked better on the garbage drive than Aaron Rodgers did. They had no running game. Completely revamped offensive line. Couldn't get the running game going at all. Averaged 3.6 yards on the ground. Breece Hall, 16 carries, 54 yards, and a touch. Aaron Rodgers was 13 of 21, 167 yards. Touchdown and interception. Tyrod Taylor was 6 of 8 for 36 yards and a touchdown. Receiving, Allen Lazard, 6 catches, 89 yards, 2 touch. Garrett Wilson, 6 for 60. Breece Hall, 5 for 39. And that was all she wrote for that side of the ball. The 49ers played old-fashioned field goal run game offense. Brock Purdy, 19 of 29, 231, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Jordan Mason, in for the injured Christian McCaffrey. 28 carries, 147 yards and a touchdown. Deebo Samuel helping fill in that spot there with McCaffrey out. 8 carries, 23 yards, and a touchdown. On the receiving end, Juan Jennings, 5 catches, 64 yards. Deebo Samuel, 5 catches, 54 yards. Kyle Juszczyk, 2 catches for 40. Kittle, 4 for 40. And Brandon Ayuk, 2 for 28. Really, it felt like the 49ers just went, Aaron Rodgers, big deal. We're home. We got the better offensive line. We got the better defensive line. Go play our game. We'll win. No Christian McCaffrey. No big deal. Why worry about it? 49ers look comfortable, man. They look chill. They look comfortable. And that's the way for the 49ers to win. If Brock Purdy doesn't have to do a ton and just be efficient, they can win. And they can win a lot. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, yeah, it was a tough game coming out here. They're on the road in Tennessee next week, by the way. Breece Hall, to me, really does seem like the linchpin here. I think Breece Hall is going to be outrageously important. By the time this is all said and done, if they don't get Hall going, it could be a really rough season. That's what I'll say. If they don't get Hall going, it could be a very rough season. That's it. What are my final thoughts for the week? Final thoughts for week number 1. Well, I'll give you this. The passing total in yards was the 5th lowest in a week since 2000. Since the year 2000. It was a lot of conservative / sloppy football. It really was. The Rams and Lions, great game. Texans Colts ended up being a great finish, but really the Texans dominated. Jaguars Dolphins, sloppiness cost the Jaguars. Raiders Chargers, sloppiness cost the Raiders. There was a lot of sloppy conservative football. I'm looking forward to week 2 a little bit more. The injuries didn't pile up in week number 1. I am happy for that. Outrageously happy for that. I don't want that to happen again. So I am happy that we are where we're at now. And looking forward to week number 2. I am looking forward to what is coming. What else? The kick return, I think, will be used in a lot of different ways. The Arizona Cardinals were the first team to return a kick for a touchdown back. The Houston Texans special teams coordinator said, I'm going to use this to my advantage. We've been working on plans. We've been working on kicks and schemes all off season. And they did a good job. No lie. They did a really good job. I like what the kickoff return will do. Once teams figure out how to be able to get the ball to start inside the landing zone and then go out into the end zone, so that you have to start at the 20. I think that's going to be a strategic move. Week number 1, nobody was risking anything. Week number 2, 3, I don't think you're going to want to give them the ball at the 30-yard line. I don't. So I'm excited to see the progression as we continue forward. That's what I'm excited for. I want to see the progression as we move forward. All right, guys. That is going to be it for recap number 2. We are heading into week number 2. We are just, this is going to be third Wednesday night for you guys, Wednesday afternoon. So we are just 24 hours away from the Bills and Dolphins. Quick pick on that one. I picked the Bills. I think the Bills are better. I think the Bills know what the Dolphins do. And I think the Bills have more ability. I love Keon Coleman, and I like what the Bills' offense will be. So my pick is going to be the Bills over the Dolphins. But, man, week number 2. We got some games. We'll get into the previews in tomorrow's episode. Guys, I appreciate you for hanging out. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to subscribe, click the bell, like the podcast, do all the things. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for hanging out. Until tomorrow night, guys, have a fantastic evening. For Sports Talk with Hawk, I'm Hawk, and I'm out.